Welcome back. Welcome back. So, Module 2, Session 2 of Promoting Events. We talked about why, talked about this number, we talked about what you want to make and how you're going to get there. One of the guys on our crew here, he's building a team. He's got like 6 people going to his company convention. He's new, but he has 60 people on his team, and he's making way more than the $6,000 a year that is projected from the 6 people he's got. And I said, hey man, you gotta, congratulations on the growth, but you gotta get this number in alignment with your goals, with the number of people that are attending. He said, yeah, I got it. I'm gonna make that happen. You need to do the same thing too. Couple quick questions that I saw in the chat. And if you ever have questions, throw it in the chat so I can answer it for you. Jackie says, our company does not have a company convention, but field leaders put together 4 events per year. Where does this fit in? Same thing. It could be like a regional event like this. And if your company continues to not have a company convention, I would organize, if it was me, I would organize an annual big convention for my team, for everybody in the company, in order to be able to do it, okay? John asks, is $1,000 US on one from the whole team or just the first line? It's for the whole team. The whole team. Every person on the team that attends your event. Let me see if this. Okay, I think that's it from questions. If you have any more, throw them in there. I'll answer them for you. We talk about the different kinds of events. Now, let's start to break down what it takes for you to become effective at inviting to events, the general core principles. Just made a mess of that, didn't I? Core principles, and then we'll get specific. 1, your belief in the event is critical. Your belief in the event is critical. Yeah, I got that one from Sarah. Bring that back to me later. We'll talk about it. Your belief in the event is critical. If you don't believe that this event is going to be powerful, you're not going to be effective in inviting people. If you don't believe it's going to be life-changing, you're not going to be effective. If you don't believe that for all these reasons that we discussed, it's going to be magical and it's going to be transformative for them, then you're going to really struggle. So sometimes you need to work on your belief. And people get really cynical. God, look at what I did. Hold on, I'll fix it. All right. That was exciting, wasn't it? Live from our house. Huh? Problem solving. Yes. People get really cynical. I had a person, I'm doing, for example, I'm doing a live interview tomorrow with Les Brown. And Les is literally a living legend. And I'm doing this on Facebook. Those of you who are watching can come join. It's going to be 11 o'clock Pacific time. So 2 hours before this event started, tomorrow. And Les Brown's a giant. We're going to just have a discussion and just hang out. So we're promoting this online, and people are like, oh, I'm sure Eric's going to be promoting some event. Everything is just all about promoting some event. And people get cynical, man. And my response to them is, yeah, guess what? I'm going to be promoting events for the rest of my life. You want to be connected to my community? I'm going to be promoting events. If you want to be connected inside of GoPro Academy, guess what I'm going to be promoting? Next month's live event online on how to solve problems. I'm going to be promoting the most powerful women in network marketing. I'm going to be promoting Beyond Leadership that I'm doing this summer. I'm going to be promoting GoPro Recruiting Mastery. You know why? Because the people who attend those events are going to have a life-changing experience. My belief is stronger than their cynicism. And you're going to get cynics. You're going to get people on your team, oh, shut up. Shut up about the company convention. Come on, it's 9 months away. Blah, 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 blah. All he does is talk about the next event. You got to say, yeah, that's what I do. That's what we do. This is the profession we've chosen. We build from event to event to event. And in order to do that, we need to have solid belief. And once you have solid belief, listen, my belief is stronger than your belief in not going. My belief in the event is stronger than your cynicism. My belief is stronger than your sarcasm. My belief is stronger than your conviction that it's not that important. My belief is stronger. This is my secret weapon. My belief is stronger. So, where are you when it comes to belief? Now, here's how... Hello from North Carolina says, are we back? My video isn't playing. Maybe refresh. Hello from North Carolina. Tell them to stop whining. Yeah, that helps. Where was I going with that? Where was I going with that, babe? The belief? It was belief, but I can't remember. I'm moving slow today.
Belief more stronger than yours.
Belief stronger than somebody else's. Yeah. That wasn't it though. Huh?
It's your secret weapon.
My secret weapon. Belief is my secret weapon. Yeah, that's for sure. Anyway, it'll come back to me. So, this is really, really big. Figuring out a way to build your confidence and build your belief and be stronger than anybody else. Once you do that, and once you kind of acknowledge the fact that sometimes you need to be stronger. Sometimes you need to get some examples. I'll tell you what built belief for me. What built belief for me was a couple things. I'll share it over here. The very first event I attended, I was super excited. I was sitting up front, and I'm taking notes, and I'm soaking it all in. And there's like 2,000 people in the room. I'll never forget. It was Denver, Colorado. And I got up from my chair. I needed to go to the bathroom. I held it as long as I could. I finally went to the bathroom, and I'm standing in the back, and I'm standing next to a guy who was one of the top earners in the company. He was making like $60,000, $80,000 a month. This is back in 1988. Okay? Big money. And I said, his name is David. I said, David, what's the secret to success in network marketing? And he said, Eric, here's one thing. He said, see this room? Here's the room, here's the stage. There's 2,000 people in this room. And the company did 3 of these events a year, every 4 months. He said, at the next event, Eric, half of these people won't come back. And the other half will be making 2 times the amount of and they'll be replaced by other people. Other people will come back. We'll still have 2,000 or more at the next one. But half of those people will come back for whatever reason. The other half that do are going to make twice the amount of everybody else. And he said it doesn't stop there. At the next event, half of that group won't come back. And this group will be making 4 times the amount of everybody else in the room. And after that event, just 1 year from now, half of that group won't come back. And this group will be making 8 times the amount. And at the next event, 4 months later, that half of that group, and then this group will be making 16 times the amount of the average of everybody in the room. So the first thing that happened to me for belief is, if I never miss an event, I'm going to win. 2 things I had to do in order to be successful. 1 was to never miss, and 2 was to get better every single, from event to event. And maybe a third. I'm going to give you 3. 1, attend every event. 2, get better between each event. And 3, bring more people from event to event. If I did those 3 things, eventually I'm up on stage. Eventually, I'm being recognized. Eventually, I'm moving to the top. So that's one thing that built belief for me. Talk about belief. Leaders attend events, and I'm going to outlast everybody else. And when somebody misses one, I'm going to say another one bites the dust, and I'm going to use that to build my strength. The other thing that built belief for me is the $1,000 formula results. Once I realized that this really held true, I was like, oh, okay, this is a big deal. This is important. That built belief for me. The next thing that built belief for me is my team results. Not just my own personal results, but my team getting results in the form of expanding their vision, in the form of income, in the form of stepping into a different level of independence. That built results for them, which in turn inspired me. So outlasting people, $1,000 formula, team results, just kind of my own breakthroughs. Here's another one. Seeing what happened seeing how devastating, and you got to hear me when I say this, how devastating it is when a person misses a convention for their career. Oh, it's brutal. If you hate them, go ahead and let them miss an event. If you love them, insist that they attend. When a person misses, and now it's like, you got a rocket booster, right? That's going up into space. And you know how like when they sent that rocket booster up and they have that first thing and then one part falls off and then another part falls off and the rest keeps going? It's like when a person misses an event, it's like they fell off. It's like they were the last car on the train and they decoupled. And now the train keeps accelerating and they're falling back. And it's so hard for them to get back. They lose so much momentum by missing one single event. They get their feelings hurt, so they don't attend. They're mad at their upline, so they don't attend. Somebody has a birthday party, so they don't attend. They're like, oh my gosh, it's the same old thing. I've heard it 5,000 times. And they miss the whole point, so they don't attend. They say to their leader, oh, just bring me the notes. Oh, it's brutal. So seeing this and not wanting my people on my team to experience that pain caused me to promote harder and have a stronger belief. You just need to believe bigger. Believe bigger than anybody else. This is kind of criteria number one if you want to be successful at promoting events, is your belief's got to be rock solid. And if you don't really have, borrow my belief for a moment. If you're not 100% there, just say, hey, Eric told me I needed to outlast them. Eric told me about this formula. Eric told me about the team results and personal breakthroughs, and seeing other people miss was really, really painful because some of you haven't seen somebody on your team miss an event yet. Really, really painful. So I'm just going to have faith in this and I'm going to step forward. In the meantime, that's fine. So core principle number one is belief. Core principle number two is, what is your story about the event? What is your story? When you sit down with somebody and they've joined your team, let's say they just joined your team. I got Alex here who has 60 people on his team. One of the things that he missed, and he's just starting, I'm looking under the monitor to tell him, sorry, and he's just starting, is you need to immediately tell a story to every person on your team. So he has 60 people on his team right now. He need immediately, and you still have time to be able to get people to his conference, which is in a couple weeks. You need to tell the story as to why this event is critical. Why? Why should they take their time out of their schedule? All the things that we talked about. What is your story? If this is a commercial that's going to play in the Super Bowl, what's the commercial? It's going to be learning is part of the story. Growth. Recognition. fun, adventure, meet leaders, stretch, grow, right? You deserve it. Let's go, right? You know, there's announcements. All this stuff you could put into your story. Hey, let me tell you why this is really important that we're going to this conference, which is going to be in September. We're going to learn so much. We're going to fill up our notebook. We're going to come back with the information necessary to own our town, own our city, own our state, own our region, own our country. Let's go do this. We're going to grow together from this experience. It's going to be an adventure. I know it's hard to understand it, but let's go have an adventure together. There's going to be recognition. We're going to meet the top leaders, the corporate people and the top earners. We're going to pick their brains. We're going to get all the announcements coming from the company. We're going to grow. We deserve this. Let's go stretch. Let's go do something amazing. Are you in or are you out? See, if I tell a story about the event, whatever the event is, if I tell a story about a regional event, if I tell a story about a GoPro Recruiting Mastery, if I tell a story about Most Powerful Women, if I tell a story about the company convention, it's way better than saying, there's an event. It's going to be in 2 weeks. Come if you have the time. So, because here's the thing. I'll put it over here. Inside of GoPro, you hear me talk a lot about posers, amateurs, and professionals. Posers announce an event. Hey, there's going to be an event. Going to be in Salt Lake City. Going to be the middle of June. That's what posers do. They announce it. Amateurs invite. Hey, come with me. Join me. It'll be fun. Professionals promote. They promote. They're relentless. They promote it like a movie. They promote it like a Broadway show. They promote it like a album release. They promote it like a major, like the World Cup. They promote it and promote it and promote it. That's what professionals do. Amateurs invite, posers announce. So a professional tells a story. Amateurs tell a little bit of a story with the invite. Professionals tell a big story with promotion. Posers just announce it. Hey, there's this event. If you have the time, join us. You know, it's going to be in September. It's going to be in November. It's going to be in February. Just wanted to make you aware, in case you didn't have anything else going on. Felt like spending some money, traveling across the country, you know, for no good reason, then here's this event. Company's going to have it. So, Vegas Steven, jet lag sucks. I agree, right? My brain's not working today. It's working in spurts, though. And I will tell you, with half my brain tied behind my back, I can still train pretty good. So, in spurts, there's going to be some good stuff. Later, we'll edit all of this other stuff where my brain disappears and leaves my body, right? Okay. My team is amused. Let me check notes real for a second. Bigger picture, yes. When's it okay to accept a no from a distributor about attending an event? For example, they won't be allowed by their boss to take time from work no matter how hard they try. I'll talk about that in a bit. You said you make $1,000 for every teammate. How much do you add personally to your income? I don't quite understand, but you make $1,000 per person per year for every person attending your event generally. Chuck asks, what does someone do when they're first starting? They have very little money, but yet they're very highly motivated to build and win. This is a real reality out there. What's your thoughts? I'll tell you about that, Chuck, because I lived it. Okay, so One is belief. Second is story. So here's an assignment for all of you. What's your story for your next company convention? What are the benefits people are going to receive if they attend? Why should somebody move something around in their schedule? If it's difficult for them and they can't afford it right now, how do you help that person see the value in going to the event anyway? Okay? So, what is your story? That's an assignment for you. Write it down. I must create a story for my next company event. So that's element number 2. Belief is 1, story is 2. Third, repetition. Repetition. You can't just, if somebody's promoting a movie, do they just promote it one time? They go on, The Tonight Show and they promote it one time, that's it? Or do they promote it everywhere they possibly can? If they're promoting a Broadway show, do they promote it just one time? Or do they promote it every week? Promotion, 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 promotion. Repetition is critical. You see this with like advertising principles. It used to be that a person would need to see an advertisement like 30 to 50 times before they take action. 30 to 50 times before they say, okay, I'm going to buy. 30 to 50 times before they say, okay, I'm going to try it. Now it's hundreds because of social media. There's so much bombardment that you need to see it. You need to see some social proof. You start seeing it more and more and more. And you remember, you see this thing online, you go, oh, that looks interesting. You see it again, you see it again, you see it again, you see it. It must be working. Social proof starts to kick in. Curiosity starts to kick in. Maybe you should click on this. No, not yet. You see it another 10, 20 times, but eventually you click on it. Okay, repetition is really, really critical. When we talk to prospects, it takes 4 to 6 exposures for a prospect to make a decision about joining your network marketing business. Inside of inviting to events, it's also a process of 4 to 6 exposures. You ask a person, hey, I want you to go to this event with me in September. And they say, I'm not sure. I got to talk to my spouse. They give you all the objections. So then you come back again. Come on, we got to make this happen. You come back again. Here's another reason why you need to go. You come back again. Here's some other people that are doing this. You come back again. Over and over and over and over until they realize, wow, you're serious about this. This wasn't just something you're just talking about. You weren't kidding. Yeah, it takes repetition. You have to be, I can't tell you, I had this person online just a couple days ago just saying, oh God, Eric, shut it when it comes to the events. Would you just give us some training and forget about always promoting the next event? I'm like, look, I want to be promoting events for the rest of my life. I learned to not give a shit about what other people were saying when it was something that my belief was stronger than theirs. So I was going to repeat it because here's what I know. Listen to me when I say this. If you have somebody on your team that does not attend events, they will not stay in your business. If they do not attend the event, they will quit. They will get distracted, they'll find something else to do, and they won't ever know that it wasn't because they attended the event. If you don't care about your distributor, allow them to not attend your company event. If you want to see them succeed, my belief got so strong over time that I just wouldn't spend that much time. I'd love people, but I wouldn't spend that much time with them if they weren't attending the events, because it just was a bad investment of my time. I invested all of my time with the people who are attending the events. That's where the value came from. Renee T says, I love events, but is the industry changing where we can learn online and multiply faster? Online, definitely, there's no question online creates speed, but leaders are born at events. Online creates velocity, but leaders are born at events. There's no question you can get scale online, but stability and strength over the long term comes from events. I'll give you an example. There's a company I work with in Europe that really strong when it comes to their product, really strong when it comes to, the basic elements of growing their business. Their corporate office is good. They've been around for up till 3 years ago. They'd been around about 12 years. And they had a certain level of success. And they brought me in to help them I did a leadership event for them for 3 days for their top 300 people, something like that. And they were like, oh my gosh, our people need this so bad. So would you come back and do our convention? So I trained at their convention like 5 hours a day for 3 straight days at their convention. And they had about 1,800 people at that very first one. And I taught them, the company itself, I taught them a concept of how to promote from event to event and how to make this a priority, okay? And they took it seriously. And I came back 6 months later, they had 4,000 people. 6 months after that, they had 6,000 people. 6 months after that, they had 12,000 people. And over the course of 3 years, which is what? 2 a year, 3 years, 6. It's only 6? Seems like more than that. 6 events, they went from 1,800 to this last event, we had 18,000 people twice. They had 36,000 people. Okay? Now they have a bunch of people who joined their business. They have, call it 80,000 active distributors in their business. And they had almost 40,000, almost 50% of those people attending the event. You know how strong their culture is? You know how strong their training is? You know how fast they're growing right now? They're just a rocket ship. Why? Yes, they use online stuff, but the events themselves have created their own momentum. They sold out 36,000 for 2 events in Poland in September. They had the first event that they sold out 18,000 tickets in 22 minutes. And the second event, I think they sold 14,000 tickets in 20 minutes. So what is that? 32,000? 32,000 tickets sold in a total of 40 minutes? It's just unbelievable. Why? Because we built a culture around it. Now, what does that do for the online people? Use online for scale, use online for growth, use online for recruiting and building, but don't neglect the event. I'm telling you, if you neglect the event, you lose out on your leadership growth capacity. My belief is super strong on that, and I hope you get super strong on that. Sarah W. says, we have 2 big events a year and a few smaller ones in between. Do you wait for one to finish before promoting the next, or always keep the big events on the radar? Good question. Excellent question. I'll tell you what I do. You always go with major event to event. If your company does 2 a year, as an example, don't promote both. Promote the next one, the next one, the next one, the next one. Now, if you have smaller events, you could use those as stepping stones to the big finale. Let's say it's in September. Smaller events lead to the big, boom, September. I lost my pen. I'll get it in a second. And then after that, you promote the next one. And you have your little events in between, okay? Big event, promote, big event, promote. Other events you can promote in between, but it's all in direction of getting you to that next major event. Hope that answers the question. Percentage-wise, how many did you shoot for to get to a company convention? I will just tell you, this company has like 50% of their active distributors attending their events, which is a crazy huge number. My answer to you, Sarah, is as many as you can. As many as you can. just make sure your goal is to increase the number from event to event to event. Increase the number from event to event to event. Have that tied to your income goals. And of course, I mean, you can use these online events that we do inside of GoPro Academy as events between events that you can use with your team to promote people to attend here, to be able to learn, to be able to grow, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So repetitions next. How are we doing on time? Oh, we're doing good. You're going to your first event summit. Next year they're going to a bigger stadium. That's true. Megan says, I neglected the event multiple times. I lost almost my whole team in 3 years, so I'm a huge believer in events now. Yeah, you don't want to go through the pain of this. My team took 500 on this event. It changed our business. Congratulations, Peter. Do you think there's a difference between European mentality and American mentality? Not really. Not really. People like to tell me all the time, oh, you know, it's different in Germany. It's different in Prague. It's different in China. Not really. We'll talk about it. Yes, I'll get there. I'm just not there. Not at that part yet. I'm getting notes from the team. It's different in the United States. It's different in South America. There's little cultural differences, but here's the truth. Getting people to attend events is a skill that is so high paying that even in today's distracted world, when people want to sit at home in their pajamas on their laptops, you know, if we were doing this live, all of you were sitting in my house and we were doing this live, it'd be a different experience. If we were in a conference and we were going through this, it'd be a different experience. It would, for sure. Just the interaction, everything else, than you just sitting there and occasionally checking your email, occasionally checking your Facebook while I'm talking in the background. It's different. It just is. All right, so repetition. Next. Problem solving. You want to become a good presenter? Inviter? Learn how to solve problems. Now, let's list some of the problems that people give you when they say they can't attend the event. List them in the comments, please. I'll wait for you, because there's a little bit of a delay on the comments. So what are some reasons why people say, I can't attend the event? Can't do it. What's some of the problems? I'll write them down. How long is the delay? 30 seconds? 30 seconds? 20 seconds? All right. It's coming. I have to work. What else? Don't have the money. Child care. Kids are out of school. My husband just died. Okay. Husband died. What else? Family obligations. Just, bring me the notes. Just had a baby. Surgery. I already attended. I attended last year. Attended already. Spouse won't let me. Hate crowds. First job. Huh? Afraid of planes? Afraid of flying. Work, money, too busy, have no vacation time, can't get off work, visa. That's one that's a hard one. Already attended, can't get to financial issues, kids starting school, no money, work, blah, blah, blah. My husband didn't let me. My exam is in the middle of the week. That's not important. I'm already spending too much time away from my family. Family time. The money, boring speakers, I already know it. I attended already. Mow the lawn. Have to get my nails done. Ted says. Child's birthday, I already know the material. I'm a caregiver, family issues. I get bored, I know everything. No passport. Hello. I can watch online. Why pay the amount? Don't want to go by myself. Too busy. Can't go until I hit a certain rank. We caught up? Okay. Pretty good list, yeah? You agree that's a pretty good list? How many times do you think I've heard these things in 30 years? Approximately. I've heard them all. I've heard them all. I've heard them all. Now, thank you for your feedback, by the way. I'm not earning enough to go. When I get to a rank, I'll go. I mean, we'll cover all that. The problem-solving, objection overcoming issue here, principle number one is this. In order for you to help them pass this issue, what's the best way for them to get past this issue? First, why they can't, almost all the time, is why they must. This is my core belief. Why they can't is why they must. That's my core belief. They don't have the money, that's why they must. They have childcare issues, that's why they must. Your husband died, that's why you must. You've attended already, that's why you must. You hate crowds, that's why you must. Visa, I mean, we could put an asterisk next to this one and say if you can't get a visa, you shouldn't probably take a boat and try and sneak around on a raft. You should make sure you get your visa. But if you need more family time, that's why you must. Got a fear of flying, that's why you must. Let's get it over with. If your spouse won't let you, that's why you must. If you got surgery, that's why you must. If you just had a baby, that's why you must. You just bring me the notes, that's why you must. Family obligations, that's why you must. That's my core belief. My core belief is whatever reason you can't is why you must. I don't tell them that, but that's my belief. Okay? That's my belief. Now, second part of the solution is stories. Stories. You need to develop a story for every single one of these objections, and that's all they are. It went from objections of them being a prospect to objections once they joined the business. The objections didn't stop, they just changed. How many of these same objections are the objections that people had for not joining your business in the first place? Same list, pretty much. Don't have the time, don't have the money, I've got to work, I've got childcare, right? I'm not a salesperson, need more family time. It's the same thing. So here's what I do. 4 steps in answering any objection. The 4 steps are: 1, to listen; 2, to relate to them; 3, to tell stories; and 4, if I would you. Listen, relate, tell stories, and if I would you. Listen, relate, tell stories, ask a question. Listen, relate, tell stories, ask a question. So, for example, they say I have to work. I listen. I say, so what does that mean? You have to work. Well, I just don't get enough time off, and I've got a vacation planned with the kids, and I got to figure this out. And I said, do you have sick days? You know, tell me what this means. I mean, you cannot get off. You can't get a person to take your time. I mean, I really examine and make sure I listen to it. And then I relate to them, point number 2. And relate to them is like, listen, I understand that this is a commitment. This is another step. And when I first took a look at going to my convention, when I had work obligations, I was stressed out because I'm like, what if this doesn't work out? I've used up some vacation time, or I've stressed the relationship at the office, or now I owe somebody because they took over my shift for me, or whatever. And I was freaking out over the risk and reward of doing this. But let me tell you what I found, and then I tell them a story. I realized that if I didn't change, if I didn't do something, I didn't stretch, I didn't grow. I heard so many people went to this event, changed their life. I want to change my life. And I want to be able to have more freedom in the future. And since leaders are born in an event, I want to be a leader inside of this business. I decided that I was going to get creative. I realized that it wasn't that the work was the issue. My creativity was the issue. I could find somebody to take the time. I could ask for, particular grace in order to be able to have an extra day. I could use my vacation time, understanding that this was an investment into my future. I'd call in a sick day if I had to. If I had it in my policies and procedures, a personal day if I had to. If I had it and I was legally able to do it, I was going to do it. Because my future was worth it. My future was worth it. So I don't tell them this story. I tell them about myself. Here's what I realized for me, right? Best decision I ever made. So then it goes to the question, if I could show you how to get creative and get resourceful and figure this work thing out, would you be willing to explore that with me and make every possible attempt to make this event a reality? And they'll say almost all the time, yeah, sure, okay, fine. Because my belief is so strong in them, my belief is so strong. If I tell people all the time, if I hated your guts, I would just let you have whatever reason for not attending the event. Just let you stay home. Because I know that in the future, you're going to have a problem. But if I love you, I'm not going to let some little thing get in the way, like childcare. I'm not going to let childcare get in the way of your future. We can get creative and solve that problem. We can figure out a way. We can find a babysitter. We can get a relative to drive in from some other place. We can find a friend that we trust. We could bring the child with us if we had to. We can find a way. Person says, I don't have the money. Listen, I get it. When do you think the money thing's going to start for you? The first time I look at this, I didn't have the money either. Now, you could either tell your story or tell how you overcame your belief. In my case, I could tell the story. The first conference I went to, I drove from Minneapolis to Denver, Colorado with 3 other people in the car. We carpooled the entire way. We shared one hotel room. We went to the grocery store and made sandwiches and filled bottled water from the drinking fountains. We had no money. But 1, I figured out if I could get creative and make an adventure out of this, I was going to do it. And 2, it was fun. When I think back of those memories, it was fun to just stretch and grow and be scrappy and creative. There's times when I've slept in my car. There's times when I went 8 people in a van, 12 hours each way to go to an event. I've done things, there's times when I registered for an event on a credit card because I didn't have the money. And then I recruited my way to the event. In other words, I had to build a team in order to be able to get the bonuses necessary to afford the trip. But I decided first, and then I figured out the solution second. So if a person says, I've got childcare, let's get creative. Here, most of this, I'm telling you, most of problem solving is just belief. It's just belief. If your belief is stronger, they'll figure it out with you. A person would, on my team, I always told my team, if anybody in your group, when you're talking to them about the event, if they say they can't go, have them talk to me. And people would get them on the phone with me, and I would say, I hear you don't think that you can go to the event. Why not? And they say, well, I've got a childcare issue. I have a birthday party. I said, listen, I want to see you win. And people who are going to attend this event are going to win. They're going to be 3 to 6 months ahead of somebody else. Do you want to be 6 months behind? They say, no. You want to be ahead, right? Yes. So listen, let's not let this little objection of a birthday party, that's movable. If you were a professional athlete and game day was somebody else's birthday, you'd probably do the birthday on another day and they'd understand. You just need to let everybody know that this is important. Yes, I know it's your birthday. It's spectacular. We'll celebrate early. We'll celebrate later. We'll figure out a way to make it happen. Diane says we hold multiple association garage sales for a few weeks prior to the event to help raise money for the event. Some people took a loan to go to a first event, right? So with any of these things, if it's childcare, come on, let's solve the problem. I had people come to me all the time. I have a child and I just don't know what I'm going to do. And we would work together and we make a bunch of lists. What are all the options? And we write down all the options and we get creative and we solve the problem. We'd solve, if the husband died, would the husband want you to move forward and be a legacy and create a better future in his honor? Do it for him. Create contribution legacy for him. Come and tell the story about what you're prepared to do. Now, if it's the day after, I get it. But if it's 6 months after, maybe it's time to honor that person, whoever that person is that's passed. Honor them by you stepping into a higher level of yourself. You know how many people I know that had a baby and came to the event with a baby? Or they're 9 months pregnant, came to the event and totally changed their lives? The number is enormous. Somebody says, just bring me the notes. I just say, look, if I didn't care about you, I would just say, fine, I'll bring you the notes. But I care about you. All that person is saying is, you haven't shown me enough reasons why this is big. A person says, I've seen this before, it's the same old stuff. I said, listen, it's not all about you. It's about you and your team. Repetition is the mother of skill. You don't learn something when you remember it. You learn something when you can't forget it. I know that you're operating at a small percentage of your potential. How long do you want to operate at a small percentage of your potential? Do you want to step through it and go to the next level? Or do you want to stay where you're at? Here's what I believed when I started getting bored with this. I realized that there was a method to repetition. I realized that I needed to look at it with fresh eyes. I realized that I needed to go in like a student again and take notes again instead of being too cool. I realized that I needed to bring more people and pour myself into other people instead of just being all about me, me, me. All of these things. If you're afraid of flying, then drive. Or face the fear and do it anyway. We were flying yesterday. We're getting ready to leave Prague yesterday. Rena, I don't know if you want me to tell the story, but I'll tell the story anyway.
Go.
So we're flying private. We have a private jet that takes us from Prague to London. And then we fly commercial back from London. And we get on this plane, and there is a storm coming in. I mean, it is coming in. And one of the people who works on our team, her name's Sandy, she has already pulled out the alcohol because she is not liking flying at all, not even a little bit. So she is just like, oh God, please. And Marina, who doesn't love flying either, we're on a 6-8 person jet. It is dark clouds. And there's one little sliver of light in front of us. And we're waiting on the runway to be able to figure this out. And lightning starts. And the pilot looks back at us and says, well, what do you think? And I'm like, go, let's go. We got to get back home because I got to talk to these people in GoPro Academy tomorrow. So rain starts pouring down, lightning is striking, and man, we're taking off going through this stuff, and boop, we popped through the clouds, and literally we were the last plane to take off before they shut down that airport. Now, the lesson is there a lesson in there other than just a story?
Yes.
What's the lesson?
The lesson is that you fear of something and you do it anyway.
Yeah. Face your fear and do it anyway, unless it's really crazy. So we've done that a couple times in our life, taking off in little slivers. But boom, you get above the clouds and wow, this was cool. We're back here, we make it all happen. If you're afraid of flying, understand, usually that's something that you're anticipating that isn't real, that you need to deal with anyway, that's probably attaching other parts to your business. Let's explore this together. Let's have a little support group work with you on that airplane in order to be able to get through it. Your spouse, surgery, reschedule surgery if you can. If you hate crowds, look, you got to face this issue. I'm not the biggest crowd person either. I want you to understand this. Some people say, well, I'm just not a people person. I'm an introvert. I'm not crazy about crowds. Here's what I will tell you. I'm not crazy about crowds either. I'd much rather be in my house than be in a big group of strangers. Much rather. But I learned to psych myself up for 3-4 days and be on, 100% on. If I was out there, I was going to be 100% on for 3-4 days, and then I'd rest afterwards. So if I mentally prepare, and I learned to use that same strategy in growing my business. I would prepare and then have a burst of recruiting because I love the relationship part, but trying to recruit a stranger or somebody who isn't focused on network marketing, that was my favorite part of it. But I learned the same principle, which is like taking off and getting through the clouds or psyching myself up for 3-4 days. So I would tell these stories for people on any of these things, right? It's about being resourceful. And it's about, in every conversation, listen, in every conversation, somebody's selling something and somebody's buying something. The people that are giving you these, they're trying to sell you that childcare is a bigger problem than attending the event. They're trying to sell you that having no money is an excuse for not attending. They're trying to sell you that their spouse won't let them go. They're trying to sell you that they hate crowds. They're trying to sell you that they attended already and that this isn't important. They're trying to sell you that they have work issues and they can't get time off work. They're trying to sell you on all these things. For every one of these things, I have thousands of people who solved the problem with the same exact circumstance, right? So if they sell you, that's and you buy it and you go, yeah, I guess so. That's what the weak people in my team did. People would come to me and say they don't have the money. What can I do? I said, you let them sell you on the fact that they don't have the money. Will this event help them make more money? Will attending this event help cause them to make less, not attending, cause them to make less money? Yes, and yes. Is it going to build their belief? Yes. Is it going to build their vision? Yes. Are they going to learn something? Yes. Are they going to meet other people? Yes. Are they going to have a better chance for a breakthrough? Yes. So why are you buying this story? That they don't have a few $100s to be able to attend. Don't let them sell you. You're supposed to be the leader. You sell them as to why this is important. I learned to push hard. I was relentless. I was obnoxious because a person telling me 2 years later saying, you know what, you were right, I should have attended. It's too late. They lost 2 years. I'm going to promote before it's too late. I'm going to solve the problem with them before it's too late. And frankly, I want to talk to you about using some persuasion skills in the next segment. You have to bring everything to bear to get past this list. You have to provide a solution. Why they can't is why they must. Listen, relate, tell stories, and if I would you. All right? The time is at 1:35. Let's take a break for another 5 minutes, and we'll come back and talk about how to turbocharge this stuff, and then we'll get into breaking down the other events. Okay? See you in 5 minutes.